Liverpool remain in fourth place, 14 points behind the leaders. We're going to start by talking about Arsenal. Did they get away with one there? How do you think they feel about taking a point away from the Emirates?
They'll be happy not to lose. I think that's all they can be, happy not to lose, because in that first half there, Arsenal absolutely suffocated Liverpool for the first 25 minutes of that. It was just unbelievable how well Arsenal played. But then in the second half, you would say it's a game of two halves. Liverpool really grew into it, started to dominate more, and they really did dominate the second half, Liverpool. But overall, when you look at it generally, I felt that Liverpool looked more like the team that could actually score a goal and get a goal. But so to come away with a point with one of the teams that you'd say is your competitors when you talk about the Premier League title race, one of the ones you have to beat, one of the top six, as we would say, and you got a point, you'll be happy with that. You're still top of the table. The rest of the pack is chasing you still. And with the help of Manchester City also dropping points and not getting the job done, Arsenal will be the more relieved team for sure.
And we've said this on Scoreline a few times this season, that in recent seasons, these were the kind of games that Arsenal would lose. Whether it's against Liverpool or a lesser team, they found a way to lose some games which ultimately cost them the title. It isn't happening this season.
Yeah, it's still a big let-off, though, because you think of what might have been, and it's a long season. This is why we say no title is ever won this time of year. It's a long season. We've seen the maturation process of Arsenal where the mentality has shifted. I didn't see that mentality today. To go the extra distance, to have that creativity, to have the extra belief. First half, they were there for the taking in Liverpool, and I thought Liverpool was very wise to where Arsenal wanted to exploit them at the top of the box. I don't know if Mikel Arteta will want this moment back and think, I thought that we were a bit predictable throughout the match at different times. I thought maybe Victor Gyokeres was on the field a bit too much. Why not bring Gabriel Jesus earlier? This game was not for Victor Gyokeres, in my opinion. He looked lost. He looked like someone who wasn't getting the right service. And you have to say that you get the points. You still have a gap between City and the rest of the pack. But if I'm Pep Guardiola, I'm thinking, hold on a sec, we're still in this.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. The result does leave it open for Manchester City and the chasing pack. And we talk about Arsenal, was it an opportunity missed? But still, you've got to take into context, this is a Liverpool side. As much as Liverpool been indifferent, you've got to give it for Liverpool as well, the performance they put in, because the players needed that. And Arne Slot as a manager needed that. There's been some mumblings about him and the hierarchy at Liverpool and how things are going on like that. Did they need a performance like this today? Boy, did they. Gyokeres, I'll give credit to, because I think for me, that's the best performance I've seen him have in a Liverpool shirt. And I say that because you look at the calibre of play he's going against, the likes of Saka, and he did a great job. Away from home, with the up and down season that Liverpool have had and the inconsistency in their performances, that was a great performance where everyone knows that Arsenal right now are the leading pack in the Premier League title race. They're that leading team, and they couldn't break down this stubborn Liverpool side, and Liverpool grew into the game and looked more the stronger team in the second half. So you've got to give credit to them like that. But I think when you talk about this winning mentality all the time, Adam, Arsenal didn't lose. Like you said, normally we would look at games like this where Arsenal could have found a way to lose it. They didn't. They still know that they're leading the race and they've got some big, stiff competition.
Is that one of the big advantages of sticking with your manager? We've been talking about Premier League managers losing their jobs in the last week or so. Arsenal are, bucking the trend, aren't they, over the last few years? They're sticking with Mikel Arteta, and that means that you can build a collective mentality and a team that, OK, we've done this before, it's cost us the title, but we're not going to do it this season, Mike.
I think if you look in previous seasons, I know a lot's been made of their mentality, and OK, I'll buy some of it, but injuries have cost them as well. So what did they do in the summer window? They addressed and got bolstered within the team. Last match against Bournemouth, when in the hell would you get into the festive period and in January, and Bukayo Saka and Leandro Trossard would be on the bench coming on? Today they start. Okay, it's not working for them. And I agree with you that I didn't notice Saka for much of the match in the second half. So you roll the dice, and different players pose different sorts of problems for different teams. But now there is this new sense of growth for Arsenal that I've seen. And this is an Arsenal side that the expectation has changed enormously, right? This will feel like a minor setback for the Gunners because the standard has been that high for Arsenal this season compared to the rest of the pack.
Yeah, just to answer your question on that, Adam, as well, for me, I feel that there's been great progression under Mikel Arteta. That's why you have to stick with him. So if you're up top, put yourself in that role of, being the owner of the club and CEO and that, you're seeing, OK, you give Arteta, this is what he wants to do. This is what he wants to build at Arsenal, the philosophy, the players, the mentality, OK? First year in charge, you see the progression, you see the great progression that he's made. then you say, fine, you can give him time. You have to stick with him because he has taken Arsenal a long way since he's been in charge. This is a telling season now. This is why we say there is no excuse. They've got strength in depth. They've got the squad. They've got every piece that he's wanted to, and they've spent money and backed him. Now they have to deliver. They have to win something. This is when you really learn about how far Mikel Arteta can take Arsenal or has taken Arsenal. Is this the end of the line for him if he turns up trophyless? So I think the reason why Arsenal have stayed with him, rightly so, is because they've seen every year he has progressively made Arsenal better and competitive, where we argued last year they need a striker. They've got the striker now. They've needed a full squad. They've got the squad now. They've got quality in every position. Also, some exciting young players still coming through as well. Everything is there where there's no excuse. This Premier League title race is still Arsenal's to throw away. And just add to what Michael said as well, when you look at the team selection there, Moreno could have started today ahead of Gyokeres. We've seen him do that before. When you talk about the game and the team that you're playing, that could have been more of a tactical change that he could have done today with Moreno starting ahead of Gyokeres, where he's finding it hard. I understand what people say, oh, he makes space and opens up space. But today wasn't about space. This was about a stubborn Liverpool side who's there, difficult to beat. When you've got Moreno, when he can drop into that midfield area, make those late runs and make the Liverpool defenders have to think more about positioning in space. But overall, you'd have to say that Arsenal will be happy with the point.
Mike, on Gyokeres, obviously the adaptation from the Portuguese league to the Premier League is a massive jump. Have we seen enough from him this season, or do you think he's fortunate to still be in the starting lineup?
I think he's fortunate that Gabriel Jesus isn't fully fit yet. And you can't go that long into the second half. You can't go that long into matches like this. This was one of the reasons, and part of the reasons why he was brought in to be a difference maker. And I'm not one of those people who, it does my head in to hear people talk about creating space. He's a goal scorer.
He's
right?
a striker.
He's a
Do
striker.
your job.
You're
Score
brought in
goals.
to score goals.
Yeah.
I didn't see Kai Havertz get this sort of, okay, excuses. Let's call it what it is. But the goals will come for Victor Gyokeres. I've always thought this when they signed him. Victor Gyokeres was brought to be a striker. Not to be the striker for Arsenal.
Well, that was what he was sold as. He's a fox in the box, he scores goals.
I think Kai Havertz, at the end of the day, will be Arsenal's leading number 9. And the longer you can get him fit and get him in the team, I think you're going to see the difference.
I always say I look at players and the body language. The body language doesn't lie, Adam. And for me, when I look at him, I just don't see someone that's really confident in himself to believe that he belongs at Arsenal. I think it's great it's happened for him, but I don't see a striker that's gone in there to say, I'm at Arsenal, I'm the man, I'm the one that's going to score goals. I don't see that chip on his shoulder. I don't see the arrogance that the greats have had in the game that we've seen.
Henri swagger.
He doesn't have that comes from him. I don't think that can come from Mikel Arteta or anyone else. When you talk about the top players and the top strikers who have played for Arsenal, they've always had that. They've had that swagger. They've had the, this is my house. Watch me show you what I can do. I don't see that. I don't see a player or a striker that has that confidence right now, where for me, maybe you might have to take him out for a few games till he can find it in himself to get that belief and to go out there and show that he's the main man. To be the striker of Arsenal Football Club, that's a big, big burden to carry.
We've got to get on to Liverpool. We've got quite a lot of Liverpool fans who work on the show, and I think they were fairly nervous.
Yeah. They were nervous. They weren't confident in their team, were they? And I said, hey, you guys will get a result today.
How many are they going to score, was what they kept saying. But in the end, it wasn't a terrible performance at all, and they can draw quite a lot of confidence from that.
Look, you're missing your best player in terms of getting goals in Hugo Ekitike. That's a big miss. And you're missing Alexander Isak. You look at the difference in the benches of the two sides. Arne Slot will take this and run with it because it's a point that feels like a win for Liverpool, given the recent struggles that they've had, given the pressure that's been mounting on his head. And Nige, we had both talked this week. I mean, there was serious pressure on Arne Slot to not lose this, to be competitive. The expectations are high, and I just thought the way he set up the team was really smart because he switched up Gakpo and Florian Wirtz, but putting numbers in the middle of the park, he overloaded the middle of the park. He made them compact, and you saw it time and time again. I think that's what brought the best out of Milos Kerkez, Nice, where you get numbers in the middle of the field, you get numbers at the top of the box. Arsenal didn't know what to do. Okay, Bukayo Saka beats Kerkez a few times. You still have to get the ball to someone, and Liverpool defended for their lives, and they deserve a pat on the back because they showed a togetherness I haven't seen in a while from Liverpool.
100%. It was a performance that was needed from the players and also for Arne Slot, the manager there, as we see, and they put it in today. When you look at that team there, the setup was to contain Arsenal, and it was to be counter-attacking. Frimpong was the one with the pace, and he did get in certain great positions. The problem with Frimpong is you can question his final product. That's the only thing that's letting him down, because he had some great opportunities to make the right decision, especially the one where he could have just played a simple sideways pass to Florian Wirtz when they broke down the right-hand side one time, and they could have been 1-0 up. You got to give him credit. They put in the performance for the manager. It was good, and they grew into the game. This wasn't a game we can say we watched and it was pure dominance by Arsenal and Liverpool parked the bus. No, second half, Liverpool the dominant one. If they had one of their strikers today available, like Ekitike there, that could have been a game. You could see maybe Liverpool finding a way to win, because that was the only thing that was missing. As much as they had the ball in the final third, just that target, that man, that person who can put the ball into the back of the net, that was what was missing, that focal point. That was what I was looking for.